Hey guys, welcome to Entertainment Talk Nation. I'm your host Rob, and this video, we're going to get back into talking about some Godzilla 2014. Okay guys, welcome back. So, alright, Godzilla 2014, we're roughly a little over a week away from The Hobbit. Obviously that's the next deadline for Godzilla trailer. A lot of people thought that it would be November 3rd. We didn't get that. I do believe that Warner Brothers dropped the ball on that. I've mentioned it many times before. And here's the thing, I was going to do a video, trying to do another kind of prediction video. I did a prediction video a couple of weeks ago on the ODT, and I was going to do the second, an upgraded version of that prediction this time, but I decided not to, because if we're going to get a trailer next week, it doesn't make any sense to make a prediction video. Now, next week, after The Hobbit, whether we get a trailer or we don't get a trailer, you're going to see some sort of video. Now, if we get a trailer, it's going to be great because it'll give me a lot of new exciting things to talk about. If we don't get a trailer, then you're going to be seeing me make a video that's probably going to piss a lot of people off. But that's that's next week. We'll talk about what we're trying to get at now. So the most recent news was the Elizabeth Olsen briefly talking about her role in the movie. We all know now that she's going to be playing the Scarlet Witch, co-starring with Aaron Johnson, which is, pretty interesting when you consider they're playing a couple on Godzilla, and they're going to play brother and sister in the Avengers: Age of Ultron. And she mentions that I think one of the things she mentions is that she has one scene where she's looking up. She's in San Francisco, and she doesn't get a lot of scenes with Aaron Taylor Johnson. So, obviously now we know that that's where she's going to be. She's basically going to be in the last area that, according to I don't want to say sources, but according to some of the things we've read, some people have stated that there's a path of destruction for Godzilla starting from Japan, heading to Hawaii, and then San Francisco being the final showdown. So it's odd because now when you sit back and you look at the scenes that we've seen, and you remember that it looked like Elizabeth Olsen was in an airport when it was getting attacked. So now I'm wondering if the scene with Godzilla running into the Mutos is probably something that doesn't happen until later on in the movie. Well, let me not say later on in the movie, but that particular scene that we are familiar with probably happens heading towards the climax. So if he does run into the Mutos early in the movie, it's going to probably be on a whole different level. So my mind started wondering, and I said to myself, what if Godzilla in this movie, because now the other thing they mention is they're going to kind of flash back to 1954, which what this tells me is going to be one of two things. Either A, the 1954 did attack. They're gonna link this movie to that movie, and it was a huge worldwide government cover-up. And people in Japan who actually survived that attack and knew about it, which most of them would probably be deceased by now, were taken into custody and swore not to mention anything, that it was an earthquake or that it was a nuclear bomb, whatever the case may be. And Godzilla went into slumber. Or scenario 2 is Godzilla was born in 1954, and now, during our time, the 2014 movie is when he makes his first appearance. Now, here's the other thing that puzzles me. Another thing I started thinking about was, what if the Mutos are the ones who actually wake Godzilla and not us? What if they're the ones who kind of, because of mutation or more nuclear testing, or like I said in one of my old school videos on ODT, was that the story's going to try and be grounded. They're going to base it on reality, so what if the 2000, or was it 2009 or 2010, 2011? What if the 2011 tsunami that caused the power plant meltdown? I mentioned before in my other videos that there's a possibility that could be the premise for the story they're going for. So what if that nuclear meltdown, boom, mutated the Mutos? They come to be. And because of this presence, because of this known presence of a new species, a gigantic species, then Godzilla just kind of emerges. That's another possibility. He could be lured out of hiding or lured out of rest because of the threat of these new animals. Because one thing that Gareth Edwards said on one of his interviews at Comic-Con, and I keep forgetting the website I read it on, but it'll come back to me one day, or maybe I'll even find it before I post this video and link it in the description. One of the things he said was that Godzilla was going to be an anti-hero. So while I'm not a fan of that, I mean, I'm just a G fan in general, so I'll be happy to see him. So now it's kind of making me realize or wonder, okay, yes, we know he's going to have a path of destruction. We know he's going to destroy buildings, subways, crush people, whatever. But what if his purpose is the force of nature that brings balance to the world? He is... What if he's like a guardian of Earth? Not necessarily a guardian of people. He may not like people, but it's his planet, or his focus, his existence, his sole existence is to purge the Earth of any threats that could be greater than him or slightly less. They won't be able to destroy him, but they could destroy everything he has worked to preserve. What if, you know what I mean? I know I'm going kind of out of a limb here. It's probably not the case. But now, when I read that Elizabeth Olsen article, and she talks about being in San Francisco, and then I remember seeing her, it looks like in some of those scenes, she's in like an airport terminal, and we know that there's an attack on an airport. Well, if San Francisco is supposed to be his last stop before the climax of the movie, then that scene that was shown at Comic-Con is only towards the end of the movie. So now it kind of makes you wonder, wow, what other kind of encounters is he going to have with these Mutos going back some? So that's why I thought maybe we don't necessarily wake him up. Maybe he's always been there and he's just been either in slumber or in hiding. Maybe this Godzilla is a little bit more intelligent than the one we've seen in the past. We don't even know what his mindset's going to be like. We've only seen evidence of his natural destruction, but I'm sure this Godzilla is going to have some character. The older Godzillas all had character, but the characters of the older Godzilla were very, very alike. A lot of them were aimed towards kids. He was friendly. He danced. He did drop kicks. He waved and all that other shit. So what if this Godzilla is going to have a different mindset, different kind of character, where he shows some resemblance of intelligence, even some decision making? I mean, can you imagine? He's going one way and he decides to turn around because, he just wants to. I mean, there's so much now that we can get out of this. But the bottom line is this. I think there's a chance that he was born in 1954, and he's going to emerge for the first time in this current movie. That's where I'm leaning towards. It could be the other way as well. They can perfectly look. Governments have been covering shit up for years, so there's no reason why he could have attacked in 1954, and all the governments in the world, for the protection of the people, got together and decided to hide the whole thing. Very likely. And maybe that's the direction they go. And then maybe that's why people know what his name is. Maybe that's why he'll be familiar to people in Japan. Maybe that's why he shows up in Japan in the first place. So, I mean, a lot of stuff. I'm hoping we get some answers next week if there's a trailer. Because then that's just going to start a whole new reason to start speculating and discussing the whole thing. And I got to be honest, if they don't show a trailer, I'm going to say this. No trailer, Super Bowl. Me and a couple of my subscribers, I don't know if they've made it to the channel yet. The channel is not even 24 hours old yet. I don't know if they've made it here, but there have been myself and many of my subscribers have agreed that Super Bowl is also a very likely date. So before people on Twitter, before any other people on YouTube, before anybody else starts going crazy, I just want to mark it now. If you do not see a Godzilla trailer on the Hobbit Day in front of the Hobbit, you will get one in Super Bowl, I believe. I do not have a source. That is just prediction. I like prediction better than the sources because if your prediction comes out to be right, then you look like a mega superhero, and that's what I'm aiming for. And as many of you know, if you're an old school subscriber from my ET, on September 24th, myself and Bryan Crockett, yes, Bryan, I'm calling you out, I'm giving you credit here. Me and Bryan predicted on September 24th, before the trailer even leaked, we predicted on September 24th that the Godzilla trailer would be in front of The Hobbit this December. So we're going to see if that prediction comes to pass. If it does not, I'm going to go with the Super Bowl because that's the next most obvious choice. Nobody right now is mentioning the Super Bowl, but if we don't get a Godzilla trailer next week, you'll hear everybody jumping on the Super Bowl bandwagon. Same thing happened. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon for the November date. It didn't come after that. Now everybody jumped on the Hobbit bandwagon. I've kind of been on the Hobbit bandwagon since September. I never really believed in November 3rd date until about 2 weeks before I started thinking to myself, well, maybe they will do it. And I kind of jumped on that bandwagon. But here's the deal. Whether we get one next week or not, we know that we're heading to the end of this year. We know that once January hits, we're only 5 months away, and time goes by pretty quick. I mean, we're already to the end of this year. I can't believe how fast this year's gone, and I'm so looking forward to this movie. And I'm dying. I really now at this point I want to get the trailer, not only to see another one, but also I really want to start piecing together this puzzle of where this movie's going, because, like I said, Elizabeth Olsen is supposed to be in San Francisco. I really think Aaron Taylor Johnson's character is going to be in Japan, along with his father. If you watch one of my other videos from the last channel, one of the scenes that Frank Darabont and Gareth Edwards described was a very emotional scene involving Bryan Cranston and Juliette Binoche, who are married in the movie. Juliette Binoche plays Aaron Taylor Johnson's stepmom, Bryan Cranston his dad. So I really, really, really want to see what kind of emotion this movie's going to convey. I want to see what kind of action. I mean, I really want to see, is this the kind of movie that they piece all the key elements of a movie together in a kaiju film? Because quite frankly, if they do that, to me, that's going to be an accomplishment in and of itself. Because you take the kaiju element out of it, most Hollywood directors and film producers and whatnot cannot get the core source of a movie together to begin with, let alone to try and pull it off with a kaiju in the middle of it. I'm looking forward to it. And when I say about the core, I'm talking about action, suspense, love, emotion, all those things that make a movie such a good movie. And it looks like this movie has the potential to have all that. And then if you can pull that off with a Godzilla in the middle of all that, dudes, I mean, we're talking about a serious film here. So, but anyway, we're going to have plenty to talk about. We have the March of the King series continuing here on E.T.N. We're going to be doing Godzilla's Revenge this week. That will be uploading tomorrow. We have plenty more this week. There's a lot going on. I had the channel update. I didn't get to talk about everything, but I'm just going to be filling the channel with uploads because unfortunately I cannot upload my prior videos. They are somewhat linked to my old channel, and I have to unfortunately break that link apart. So, but I'm going to try and catch up. I might be doing some rehashes of my old videos so people can see them. But outside of that, guys, thank you for watching this video. We will definitely discuss more Godzilla going forward, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take it easy.